Konnichiwa. Welcome to the Uzumaki Garage. In this episode, I'm working on the Honda Integra Type R once again. I'll be reinstalling some more OEM parts, and I'll show you how I repair damage that I find under the rear damper maintenance lids. From the factory, the Type R Integra has lots of chassis bracing. On the front end, they also put a nice strut brace with the Type R logo on it. There was also an option to have a rear strut brace, if you didn't mind losing some of the versatility of owning a hatchback. These rear strut braces are really hard to find, but if you really need one, you can buy copies of these brackets from Acura in the UK, and use them combined with a spare Type R front cross brace, and you're good to go. My Type R Integra has an aftermarket front strut brace, which looks strong, but it won't look right once the rest of the engine bay is OEM. It also has an aftermarket rear strut brace, and I'll be removing that today too. To me it looks messy and not beneficial, and after it's gone I can replace the damper maintenance lids for that clean OEM look. But before I do that, I've got to repair some damage to the trim where they attach. And if you've got some broken plastic trim to fix too, keep watching and I'll show you how. I've got two OEM Type R front strut braces. The brace that came with the car does have a little bit of rust on its brackets, and the one I'm cutting out of bubble wrap now has just arrived in the mail. I could repaint the original brace, but if I don't have to match the paint colour, it'll be easier. Overall, the new front strut brace is in better condition, so I'll be installing it today. And when the new sticker comes from Japan, I'll put it on. So first I'll remove this aftermarket strut brace. It's interesting that this design attaches to the dampers bolts, whereas Honda's brace attaches onto a different position. I'm removing the AC bracket bolt so I can move the hose out of the way to access the strut top nuts. Removing the spoon brackets. Replacing the strut top nuts and tightening with the torque wrench. And tightening down the AC hose bracket. Putting the Honda brace into position, loosen the cross brace screws, tighten the bracket down, and then tighten the cross brace screws with an Allen key. The rear strut brace is aftermarket too, and it's got lots of scratches, so it's going next. I also noticed that the side lining panels are damaged where the damper maintenance lids attach. So first I'll remove the strut brace and see what I can do to repair the damage. Replacing the strut top nuts and tightening them with the torque wrench. The left side panel has a crack in it, and there's a piece of plastic missing underneath the strut bar too. I'll be using 3M 2-part plastic repair epoxy. It's pretty easy to use, just follow the instructions and work as fast as you can. First I'm cleaning the area with wax and grease remover, then I scuff up the plastic with sandpaper or Scotch-Brite. Dabbing on the adhesion promoter as I can't get the spray can behind the panel. For small jobs I don't use a self-mixing nozzle, I mix equal parts on a body filler mixing board. But you don't need to get it all done in one go, because after it's set you can apply another coating of adhesion promoter, wait 10 minutes for it to dry and mix up another batch. This area has a piece of plastic missing completely. Now I could build it up using only epoxy, but I'm going to use a piece of donor plastic that I'm cutting out of another car's spare interior trim. could shave down and sand the epoxy so you don't even see it, but I'm leaving extra epoxy on there to give it extra strength, providing the lid can still close properly. I put these clips back onto the lids and pop the lids back onto the panels. I applied some vinyl protectant to the area, but I think this extra shine product is too much shine, so I'll use something else next time. Comparing the before to the after. So that turned out really well. I'm one step closer to having a perfect OEM engine bay, and the rear hatch now looks really neat and clean. I'm trying to get a new video out every week, so if you want to follow what I'm doing with the Integra or my other JDM cars, click subscribe and notify. If you've got friends that might like what I'm doing here, help me out by sharing the channel with them. Thanks for watching, see you next time. This is one of the redback spiders I share my garage with, also known as the Australian black widow. They're highly venomous and their bite is extremely painful. Every year up to 10,000 people get bitten, but it's been about 5 years since someone died from a bite, so we don't really worry about them. There's plenty more worse things to worry about.